All right, eventually you're going to be solving quadratic equations, and I sort of want to make sure to show you some of the steps that you're going to need along the way before we sort of throw you into using the quadratic formula. And we're going to start at 1.b. Last lesson we learned how to simplify radicals. Now we're going to take it a step further. We're going to look at simplifying these expressions with radicals. And you're going to use your last lesson. Okay, so you're going to use your last lesson. The first thing you're going to do is simplify the radical, and then we're going to talk about, well, how do you simplify the rest? Okay. So let's look at this example. So first thing I want to do is simplify square root of 16. Well, the nice thing is square root of 16 will be 4. Because 16 is 2 times 8, 2 times 4, 2 times 2. So if you do it this method, you only do 1, 1, you pull out 2 2's, you get 4. Or a lot of them might know, hey, 16 is a perfect square. So once you've done that, you can now sort of split this up into two different things. What you'll have is negative 6 plus 4 divided by 2. And what this plus or minus means is when you add it, and you also will subtract it. We can't always add these terms. Like if this was a radical, you can't add the integer with a radical, but since it turned out to be another integer, we can do that. So in this case, you get negative 6 plus 4 would be negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. And in this case, this would be equal to negative 10 over 2, which would be negative 5. And those would be your two solutions when you simplify this. And you actually get values. Let's look at this next one. The opposite of negative 3 is 3. Square root of 24 would be 2 times 12, 2 times 6, 2 times 3. So we can circle a pair of 2's, and this will end up being 2, and we'll have a 2 and 3 left, square root of 6 over 2. This is a situation now where we cannot add these terms, because they're not like terms. What we can do is we can divide this up and be 3 over 2 plus 2 square root of 6 over 2, and then that minus sign would be 3 over 2 minus 2 square root of 6 over 2. And you can sort of see, if I'm dividing all of this by 2, that means I got to divide this term by 2 and this term by 2. That's why I sort of did that. As I look, there is one more thing I can simplify. This cannot be, but these both have a 2, so it can be simplified. This would end up being 3 over 2 plus, these would cancel out, square root of 6. And same thing down here, 3 over 2 minus square root of 6. And these would be your simplified form. Something, by the way, too, might see on your SAT. All right, last one. Square root of 23. There are no two numbers that can multiply by square root of 23. So at this point, I really can't do anything further. I just have to leave it as square root of 23. So I'm going to have 4. I'm going to do one more step here. I have adding these together, and I have subtracting these. And now I sort of skipped this step over here, but I figure I'd maybe go a little bit more in depth. If I'm dividing this whole thing by 2, I can split up and divide both terms by 2. So that would be 4 over 2 plus square root of 23 over 2. And 4 over 2 would end up just being 2. So I got this. And the same thing down here. 4 divided by 2 would be 2, and it'd be minus the square root of 23 over 2. So that's how you go about simplifying these. If you feel very comfortable with this, go ahead and you can go on to your homework if you want. There's 3 more examples I'm going to do in the next video. You can try them and come back to the next video.